Hello citizens, Gian-Carlo Carra here for another edition of Ward 9 TV Lite. What I want to talk about today particularly impacts Calgarians who live in the Elbow River Valley downstream of the Glenmore Reservoir. This past Friday, January 29, at River Park Church, a whole number of us met with Municipal Affairs Minister Danielle Larrivee, Mayor Nenshi, and your most excellent member of the Legislative Assembly, Greg Clark, to discuss a particular issue affecting many of the homes in those neighborhoods, and that was the provincial buyout that is now threatening to create a series of open pockets where there used to be homes on the Elbow River. And the question is, what do we do with them? The meeting last Friday was really focused on that question, but of course there were tons and tons of questions from everybody about all sorts of other issues stemming from the flood. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to give you a little bit of a recap of what I heard, what my office heard, and what we want to do on a move forward basis. So number one, everyone's concerned obviously about the fate of those homes, and I'll address that in a moment. Number two, people are not fully understanding, I think, what the major announcement coming out of the province with regard to SR1, which is the technical name for the Springbank Reservoir, the Glenmore Dam, sort of like basically raising of the gates there, and then $100 million of miscellaneous, what we're calling brute force mitigation. So just to quickly talk about what I heard and my promise to not only the residents of Park Hill, Rideau, Roxborough, and Earlton, but also everyone who lives along the Elbow River is this. Number one, I think a lot of the question marks and a lot of the bizarre lack of clarity surrounding this issue stemmed from an initial battle between people who wanted to take this opportunity to get rid of these neighborhoods and people who felt that these neighborhoods were historic, integral to the character and the history and the future of Calgary, and wanted to protect them so they remain the sort of the heartblood of our community. I think that battle still rages to a certain extent within both city and provincial administrations, but I think it's by and large been solved, and that is that we are not going to passive aggressively pursue a course where we wipe these neighborhoods away over the course of 100 years. We are in fact going to spend significant amounts of money. We're going to protect these neighborhoods and ensure their vibrancy on a move forward basis. So I, for one, the first thing I want to do is state that my mission has always been that these neighborhoods remain the vibrant, amazing places they are, and they become more vibrant over time, especially as we protect them. That is my mission, and my mission will be to get every politician who's confronted with how we move forward to make it a similarly unequivocally clear statement in that regard. And Minister Larrivee is one of those politicians that I will be seeking that clarity from. Number two, I think we need to really dig into what exactly the flood announcement from the province means. And to that end, I will be working with ministers, with MLA Greg Clark and with my fellow councillors Brian Pincott and Evan Woolley to sit down and really talk about what SR1, the proposed work on the reservoir, and the $100 million in miscellaneous funds means, how they fit together. So stay tuned for an announcement on a major town hall along the Elbow River Valley. Number three, I am 100% committed to seeing these properties that were bought out in a very strange and unfortunate buyout process returned to the private sector so homes can be built on them as soon as possible. I agree with the minister that for legal reasons, but also technical reasons in terms of possible brute force mitigation, these lots should be returned as soon as the flood mitigation is in place and not before that. And then the final thing I want to say is we heard very loud and clear that because of how the city does assessment, many people who are in the flood zone are having their homes assessed at values associated with homes up out of the flood level. and that's unacceptable. So I will be pursuing a very clear course of action to clarify that we are actually assessing these homes properly. I have no doubt as to the amazingly vibrant and successful and property value rich nature of the future for these neighborhoods, but I recognize that we're in trying times right now, and we have to respect that, and we have to get this flood defense up and running as soon as possible. So stay tuned for an announcement with regard to this town hall as soon as we get all of our schedules linked up, and we will endeavor to answer all of your questions. I will work to make sure there is tremendous clarity around the long-term intent for the future of these neighborhoods, and we'll make sure we get these properties on the market working with the province as soon as possible. Thanks so much, citizens. Gian-Carlo Carra, signing out.